Welcome back to Research with Ria. Here we are with another interesting opportunity. Guess what? This is exclusively for life science PhD holders. How about doing a postdoc funded by a European organization? Sounds interesting, right? It is the EMBO Postdoctoral Fellowship, funded by the European Molecular Biology Organization. Let's see what it is. Before we get into it, I would like to introduce you all to a community which is built exclusively for life science people. It is called ENXYMES. This is a platform which offers you with verified information on opportunities like grants, jobs, fellowships, PhD positions, postdoc opportunities, etc. in life science. I'll give the link to join the channel in the description box. Keep a check on it. Now, what is EMBO? Like I said earlier, it is the abbreviation of European Molecular Biology Organization. This is a European organization that supports researchers across the life sciences with fellowships, conferences, grants, trainings, journals, and scientific networking initiatives. If we see the functioning countries, it can be divided into two categories. First is the member states, that is the European Molecular Biology Organization member states, which includes the 27 countries in the European Union, along with some other European countries and Eurasian countries, totally making to nearly 32. And also they have some global partners which are not in the European region, which includes Chile, India, Singapore, and Taiwan. Since this is an organization that exclusively supports life science, the subject areas are predominantly in structural biology, computational biology, systems biology, genomics, neuroscience, microbiology, cell biology, and immunology. That's all about a general introduction and the areas covered by the EMBO, that is European Molecular Biology Organization. And now, if we look specifically into their postdoctoral fellowship program, this is something which is not a generic international fellowship. This promotes international mobility and independent research training in life science, especially for people who have done a PhD in life science areas. This is a transition point between being a PhD student and becoming an internationally mobile independent scientist. The fellowship is usually for 24 months, that is 2 years, and which also allows a secondment up to 20% is allowed. That is an extra time period after the 24 months. And this one is a wonderful opportunity to get into the EMBO laboratory leadership, scientific skills and courses and all free of cost. The specific subject areas which are covered under the postdoctoral fellowship program is given below. It is a wide variety or wide range of subject areas and topics, which definitely comes under the life science theme. And this list will also get revised every year, every round of application invitation. So for this one specifically to be updated, always check the guidelines, check the official platform. I'll give the link to that official platform here in the description box. Now, coming to the eligibility criteria, definitely PhD degree or equivalent is a definite criteria at the start of the fellowship. That said, it doesn't mean that you should have a PhD degree by the time of application, but it should be there when the fellowship starts. And those who already have a PhD, it shouldn't be not more than 2 years to the application submission date. This is very important. And there is some exemptions to this 2-year criteria, which includes parental leave, which is 1 year per child for female scientist and 3 months per child for the male scientist. And if you have done some mandatory military or civil service, then some extraordinary personal circumstances. This is a case by case approval, which includes some severe illness or full time take care of some ill family member, like that, which is highly individualistic and up to the discretion of the committee. So if you want these exemptions, the applications for that exemptions must be submitted prior. You need a prior approval before the submission of the official application form. Then only it will be approved. Otherwise, if you don't have a prior approval, these exemptions cannot be granted. And the fellowship office uses the submission date of the application for the assessment of the eligibility criteria. That is, the application deadline is the criteria for all the timelines used. Coming to the publication criteria, you should have at least one first author or joint first author research paper either accepted for publication or already published in an international peer-reviewed journal. First author preprint in a recognized community is also sufficient. Reviews, comments, book chapters, instruction-based methodology papers, videos, patents, these categories are not considered in the publication criteria. Also, do not indicate the journal impact factor or any such metrics in the criteria in the publication list which you give. This is really important because according to the EMBO policies, they do not consider such metrics or impact factors as a proof of quality or something superior as a selection criteria. This is interesting, and that is very much about equivalency. And the publication updates after the application submission is also generally not allowed. Now we are moving into a very important part, also a very confusing part of the EMBO mobility rules. So this is the basic rule is that you must genuinely change your country for your postdoc from the country in which you have done your PhD. That is the basic criteria. And there should be some international mobility. Countries in which you have done your official PhD degree obtained is not eligible for your postdoc work. So PhD officially shared, if you have done your PhD between two institutions in different countries, in that case both the countries will be excluded for the eligibility. But there is one relaxation, that is if you have done a visit to a country which is less than of 6 months, maybe that to a future supervisor or any other laboratory in the proposed destination country, such ones are permitted if it is strictly less than 6 months. Now, regarding the mobility, there are actually 3 categories. The category 1 is applications to work in a EMBO member state. You are going to a member state, and this one, in this category, anyone can apply regardless of your nationality or your country in which you have obtained PhD. The only condition is you should be going to a EMBO member state where you have not done your PhD. That there is some international mobility. Your nationality can be anything like is anyone to any EMBO member country. Now, if we see the category B, which are applications to work in an EMBO global partner, in this case, you can be a national or be moving from or have done your PhD either in a EMBO member state or EMBO global partner, provided here also the host country or where you want to do your postdoc shouldn't be a country where you have done your PhD, and also it should be a global partner country. Now coming to the category C, the third and last category, this is a bit strict category. Here a maximum of only 30% of fellowships are awarded. So this is applications to work in a non-EMBO member state, that is in a global partner country only. So in this case, you must be a national of an EMBO member country and move from an EMBO member country. That is, you should be a member and also move from a member country to a non-EMBO country or partner country. So here the PhD should also be done in a EMBO member country. That is, everything with you should align with the EMBO member country. Your PhD, your nationality, and you are moving from your current residential status should be a member country, and you should be moving to a non-EMBO member country. And in this postdoctoral fellowship, what you actually get? You will be getting 3 important things. One is funding, a 2-year postdoctoral funding, then an international level of training and free access to courses and training schedules, then a global network of life science researchers. So here, if we see what actually you get, you can divide this into 2 categories. One is those EMBO postdoctoral fellowships which are hosted in the member states. In this category, we have seen the member states, the all of European Union and some other European and Eurasian countries. If you are doing your postdoc in these countries, you will be having a full employment contract through the host institution. So you will be an employee in this case, and you will be getting social contributions, salary, employment benefits, taxes. You have to pay the taxes, travel and relocation support, parental leave extensions, long term sick leave flexibility, and sometimes part-time work options as well. Here I'm not picking out what the exact salary would be because it will depend on the country in which you are doing your postdoc, so it varies. That's why I'm not specifying it. So these will be your perks and what you actually get if you are doing it in a member state. If your fellowship is hosted outside an EMBO member state, so if you are in a non-EMBO place or a global partner country, then the support comes as a stipend. You will be considered more of as a fellow than an employment contract. So in this case, you don't get the social security things, but you will get the relocation support, childcare, the salary, that is the stipend, then dependent child allowance, paid parental leaves. Here also the provisions are mostly country specific, depends on the host institution country. Other perks and allowances can also be added to it, but basically you will get all these things mentioned here. Here is important thing, we will discuss about the important timelines. So the postdoctoral fellowship will have two selection rounds, that is they will give a call for application two times. One is the spring round, the other is the autumn round. The spring round will mostly, the application opens in the fourth Friday of January and the result will come by June. The autumn round, the application deadline will be July second Friday, the second Friday on the month of July, and the results will be out by December. The online application system will be open throughout the year. You can submit your application anytime. However, the assessment period and the declaration of results will be as mentioned here. Here we are moving to the most important part, the application process. How is it? The application for the postdoctoral fellowship is through online application system via the EMBO website. I'll give the link to the website in the description box. The full application is in English language, and for the proposals and the documents which you need to upload, there is restrictions for formatting. No special formatting should be done. It's not allowed. Also, figures and tables are not allowed in the application content, in the application documents. And very important part is, one applicant or one candidate can submit only one application based on one research project at each round of the selection, and also at one host laboratory. That is, one candidate, one application, one host laboratory at each round of selection. And the first thing is, you have to register yourself and create an account in the EMBO online application system, and then the application can be started. It will be a step-by-step guided process in the online system itself. Now, what all documents you need? That is, two reference letters. You need two reference letters. One must be your PhD supervisor. There is no relaxation in that. And the another can be anyone who know you really well, your academic background, who can comment highly of you. And the thing is, none of your referees can come from your host institution. That is where you intend to do your postdoc. That is also strict. Then you need an acceptance letter or letter of invitation from the host institution saying that they will host you. And important things are, for the reference letter as well as the acceptance letter, the referee and the host supervisor must, and you as well, must use your official email address over your personal email address. Then you need a very detailed CV without any tables or figures mentioned in it. Then the publication list in the prescribed format in the official guidelines without mentioning any citation metrics or journal metrics. And a research proposal, well-defined research proposal. I'll give a link to the official guidelines which detail the research proposal things. It is also available in the application submission portal about the things you have to check while uploading the documents and the formats of which. Now, coming to the selection process, it is a three-stage process: a pre-screen, then interview, and final a committee decision. In the first stage, the pre-screening stage, they look a detail about you and your proposal summary, publication records, achievements and reference letter, and also the host lab justification, how well your work and you align with your intended work and the host lab you are proposing. Only the top 20 to 25% of the applicants move forward to the stage 2. In the first stage, what they exactly look is your scientific achievements, that is your scientific contributions from your CV, and the performance based on your reference letters. Then the quality, scope, novelty, and the biological significance of your proposed research, the coherence and logical presentation of the research proposal. Then the host laboratory thing, how suitable you are to the host laboratory for the proposed research project, and as well as the scientific achievements of the host laboratory in the area of your proposed research. That is also really important. Now, in the second stage, those who are got selected or moved to the second stage, the one is interview. The selected applicants will undergo a 90 minutes online interview via Teams or Zoom, and here you have to give a 30 minutes presentation of your proposal of the what you wish to do, and this will be followed by a 60 minutes or 1 hour of question and answer section. So this will be a very intensive, very focused interview. Now, the last stage is the committee decision. Based on your full application and the interview performance, the assessment committee will select the final list of postdoctoral fellows who got selected, and the gray zone candidates who might have performed, could have the potential to be selected, they will be given an additional opportunity via an interview. Now, the important thing is this is a highly competitive fellowship. So, the EMBO mostly receives more than 1,400 applications annually, and even if you get rejected, you won't get any individualized feedback. Now, I would like you to keep certain things in mind. The very important thing is your project proposal must be driven by a biological research question. That is very important. Purely clinical or applied type of work without a biological mechanism is not eligible. And now the very important part is your host lab. That is, each host lab can support only one application per selection round. So you should start early a conversation with your potential supervisors. Also, one candidate can submit only one application for one project at a host laboratory during each selection round. So it is always one from both sides. The talks and conversations and discussions should start very early. And in the case of reapplication, it is allowed only once and with only substantial changes to your proposal which got rejected. There are certain common mistakes which usually end up rejecting your proposal and not ending with a fellowship. That is, one is listing the journal impact factors and other citation metrics despite which is clearly mentioned in the EMBO policy. Then returning to the PhD country, the country in which you have done your PhD for as the host institution, applying to a former supervisor's lab, then misunderstanding the 6-month mobility rules, and using informal preprint comments as peer review system. That is, a preprint paper, first author paper is accepted only conditionally. That is, it has strict metrics. The comments or peer review of it should be formal, it shouldn't be informal. Then treating a continuation of PhD project as a new project. This fellowship supports a project which aligns with your area, but it should be substantially very different from what you have done for your PhD. It shouldn't feel like as a continuation of your PhD work. How can you improve your chances of selection? So, first, the main thing you have to understand is that the committee is not just evaluating whether your science is good, they are evaluating where this transition from a PhD scholar to an independent international researcher is will make some career development, make some really good development in you as a researcher. So the proposal should clearly demonstrate that independence from your PhD work. And also, the since it is only one lab, one application, one candidate rule, you should discuss and develop the proposal in this direction very early on. You should have enough time to develop such a good proposal. Also, choose a host lab that genuinely expands your expertise, aligns with your research area, and that is a very important point even in the pre-screening stage itself. Now, the career impact. What you get out of the 2 years of postdoctoral fellowship by EMBO. You get access to a rich EMBO fellows network, which is global, and access to the leadership trainings and courses free of cost. International visibility, it is such a prestigious opportunity, and the EMBO tag will improve your international visibility, and you definitely thus you will get a networking opportunity to an international community and a long-term integration into the EMBO fellows community. That is, once an EMBO fellow, always that tag will be with you, always an EMBO fellow, like that. So, in a nutshell, if we see this fellowship is exclusively for life science people, all those life science people keep attention. And here it is a new country, new project, new supervisor, new lab for recent PhDs in life science, and you get a 2 year fully funded international postdoctoral opportunity to develop you as a researcher of international quality, credibility, and visibility. I hope that you have enjoyed the video. If you find these sort of informations useful, please do subscribe, like, watch it, and share. And I would also like to reintroduce the community, life science community, which I have mentioned earlier, ENXYMES. I will giving the link to join their WhatsApp channel in the description box. Also, I'll be attaching all the links to the official guidelines and more about the official things, the link to such websites in the description box related to EMBO. If you have any doubt regarding any of these things, you can surely give a comment. I'll reply. Thank you so much. Goodbye.